Yeah, but training is good. My lower back's still killing me a little. I've probably been pulling wrong, or I just haven't been very efficient by how I do things. Not very intentful about how I train, so
Just
that's been
getting it
hard.
in, getting
Is
it
it
out.
Yeah,
what part of your lower back? Is it when you're squatting or deadlifting?
it's definitely when I'm deadlifting. Yeah, I
Oh,
just feel a little weak and I feel a little pain, but it's nothing like insane. Like I need to go to the hospital for. I don't think I've been very thoughtful, like done with purpose. Yeah, so it's been a little hard.
but you've also cut a lot of weight.
Yeah, like almost 15 pounds.
Forgot about all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 98 kilos to all the way to 89. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's healthily. I didn't do it all in a week, but like at least 6 or 7 months into it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now you're in a different weight class.
Yeah, that's been hard. Yeah.
Getting ready for military nats.
I know that's what I'm very excited for. Like that's something I've never heard of before. I know we have different nationals for every competition we do here, but military nationals I'm very excited for.
It'll be the first one,
Yeah.
right?
For a PA, yeah.
Yeah, for PA.
That's very
USAPL
exciting.
usually runs one in Texas, but this is the first year for PA to run it.
That's cool. I'm
It's really
very
cool. It's
happy.
really big.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy to be part of something that's new, like first time ever. I kind of like the idea because it's kind of like specialized for people like me, veterans, active duty, people in the services, firefighters, policemen. So that's pretty cool to put all of us together in any place too. Vegas is pretty cool too.
Very curious to see the competition that's going to come out.
Yeah, I just don't know how that's gonna be. I don't know many strong like military people in powerlifting specifically who are doing this kind of thing. So,
Ashton, right?
well, yeah.
Yeah, but he's probably just
No,
going to
no,
go.
he's not going to do military nats.
I'm
No.
like, oh man, I'm cooked.
I mean, there's also there was also this is because it's just first responders, or is this just military national?
It's first responders and military.
Okay, cool. I was about to say that's how USAPL's is too.
Mhm.
So it's just get all those freak guys, but like all the really strong guys, they typically stay just at the open national meet or whatever the raw nationals is that year. And they just want to go to worlds, and or the competition really is the biggest aspect. There's not as much competition in that side, so it's kind of a not newer development, but it's still like under development.
Mhm.
Well, we're going to see how this one kind of goes because they're mixing it with equipped nats, right?
Oh, are they?
I think that's what the plan was.
No, EquipNat. Yes, it is EquipNat. Yes, you're right. It's EquipNats, and then the last day will be
military.
military nationals.
Okay, so equip nats as in just not military specifically, right?
No, it'll
Okay.
just be like separate.
I see, just like how we do it. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how Open Nationals was like 3 or 4 days here back in March, and the last day was University Nationals.
Right. Yeah.
It's like that.
Okay. Cool.
It might be like 1 or 2 days equipped because it's not as big, and
Yeah.
then the last day will be all military.
No, that's exciting. My family's very excited. They've watched me in my first competition. They were really happy about it, and now when I told them about Vegas Nationals for the military, they're like, "Oh, we gotta start planning everything now. Like, we can bring your family over down there." I'm like, "Okay, well, don't make me that nervous." Like I'm excited.
How far
for
is it from here?
What, Vegas?
Vegas. Is that 8 or 6?
It's like 8 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that stinks.
8 hours, 9 hours if you drive slow like me. But yeah.
I mean, better be safe. You got to make it to the competition first.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I drive slow. I drive the speed limit as well.
Right.
Or you can just, take a $100 flight.
I think I'm gonna do that.
Is
I want to
that,
be
is that how
rested.
much it is?
Like a round trip, if you get it early, can be like as low as like $50.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's actually
really
really
nice.
cheap.
I want to definitely fly so I can stay well rested. And I
Yeah.
already talked that to my wife. Like, we're just gonna fly. I don't want to drive. I'm gonna come to the competition tired. I'm not gonna be very ready. I need to be mentally prepared too. So I don't need 8 hours on the road thinking about how I want to do. I just want to fly in, sleep, rest, and get ready for that competition.
What was your last meet?
My last meet was
Was that March?
Was that in March? Man, it's been
No, it was-
Legions.
Legions.
Yeah,
When he-
October.
when he passed
He was
out.
at Legions. Yeah,
Yeah, I
my
passed
bad.
out so hard I forgot about it.
Yeah, dude. When I
Yeah.
first got here, it was all these things like Jerry's got surgery. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What? Twice? It's
Yeah,
like,
that was-
oh my goodness, everything was happening when I first moved here with you. And I was like,
Yeah.
hope he's okay.
Yeah, I know. I came from Texas spying and loading. 2 months later, trying to get ready for Legions. I have my appendix ruptures, and then I'm out for a good 6 weeks. That was mentally rough on me for sure.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Brandon here, trying to see like where I can get ready because I'm like, oh my gosh, They told me I need to recover for 4 to 6 weeks. 6 weeks max puts me out 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior to the Legions. Like I was stressing, very anxious, but he definitely came in for me and told me like it's gonna be okay. You just gotta do what you gotta do. train hard. It's nothing new before. It's just another little block in the road. So like having him and having others tell me that I just needed to be told it was going to be okay, because I was stressing too much. My gosh, I'm not going to hit my numbers. My gosh, I'm already 20 pounds under. Like, I will not be able to perform the way I want to. But the important thing was, the first step was to actually perform. Like, at least I can do that. And that was, I guess that was the hardest roadblock. Was like, oh, I'm already thinking about wanting to be the best, but I got to take it a step back and think about healing and recovering first. That's the one thing he told me was, Jerry, you got to recover. You got to take care of yourself first. You're going to do it anyways. You're going to perform, but you can't perform if you're going to get hurt again. And I'm like, okay. So he was definitely the one person that said, it's okay to take that time to recover. Mentally, too, because I was stressing myself out.
Yeah.
You know,
You focus really hard on training.
I try.
You send me big long texts about every little thing that you've done, which I appreciate. It makes it easier.
Yeah, I want to keep you updated because I care that much that you know you're my coach, and other people should know too, especially if they're working side by side with me. Like, I want to make you proud, especially because you've been working by my side and keeping me not only physically healthy but mentally too. Because this is not an easy thing. Trying to stay positive, especially if you're not going down a very steep slope of digressing and everything, is also another workout in all itself. Like, I just can't. You can train your body, but training your mind is a whole different thing too. Like, I don't do that. I don't take the time to train my mind, but that's what you're there for too.
Yeah,
that's what a coach is.
You brought up like you want to make sure like you want to make Brandon proud, and obviously you do a lot for like your family and stuff. But like, I'm probably asking this in the wrong regard, but like, how does this help you mentally? Like, how does this push you into like not just helping yourself to be good for others, but like this helped me be a better Jerry too, you know? So
yeah, I mean, it starts really far back when I was just getting out of the military. But when I was an 18-year-old kid joining the military for the first time, I thought it was top dog. I mean, most kids do, and we're 18, we're not very developed up there, so we're thinking the hardest thing we're doing right now is really hard, or it was really good for you. So I felt like an alpha, and I'm being very honest with this. I was very egotistical.
okay.
So that carried a lot throughout the 4 years I was in, and the last 2 deployments I did too. But getting out was a very tough mental battle. So instead of going up from there, I digressed. I started to put myself in a shell, very reclusive, I guess you could say, and I was not improving anymore. So that was just for 6 months. I can only imagine for 6 months or more, plus that, how I would have turned out if I didn't start going to college. First, my wife was the one that really kept me afloat, because a lot of veterans, they struggle through a lot of things. Getting on the military is one thing, but like then living everyday life as a normal civilian is really hard too, because not many people realize or see that. For me, it was very rough because I didn't have that structure anymore, and that all my friends are now away from me. So starting over.
You went from being in school to going to the military, and then going into the quote unquote real world.
Yeah, that was the real world.
There was no.
You went through how many years of just that structure though? Just sound. Somebody tells you what to do. You have a schedule, and then now it's like nobody's telling you what to do. You know, it's like now I'm free, but like it's weird.
Right,
I know what you're talking. That's how my dad described it too.
Yeah,
it's like he lacked structure when he retired from the military as well. So
I can imagine. Yeah. Like the structure, I mean, no one had to tell me what to do. I mean, I didn't have to tell myself what to do, right? But having to think for myself now, and then not only that, think for my wife and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I handle this? So I actually started balding. I have alopecia, and I didn't know that because all that stress really took it out of me. And then I had nosebleeds. I started having alopecia on the top. It was just clean right there, just a nice, smooth little part of my head. And I'm trying to tell myself, it's okay, my father is semi-bald. Why not?
Yeah.
But in reality, I was struggling internally. I didn't know how to really project that. And I stopped working out. I stopped like hanging out with friends because I was so stressed and very bitter about a lot of things. So when I first enrolled into college, I was also a very bitter person. I also thought I still had that mentality that had a big ego. So that didn't help make any friends for sure. I didn't know how to step back and be open or be friendly, my wife had to, and again, my wife had to tell me exactly what to do. You got to be friendly. You got to make friends, Jerry. I'm like, no, I don't need friends. You know, they're just gonna. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. Now standing here today, or sitting actually, thinking about that was like, wow, I can't believe I was like that for a while, for a long time. My first year and a half in college, I still had a big ego, and I was still kind of in my shell a lot. I closed the shell really. I put more shells around my shell.
Right.
Yeah, so it wasn't easy. Yeah. But I think where I started to change, or at least I took that first step to be more open, was when I saw this flyer that was sent out by the Veteran Services team. So UNR has this veteran service program that helps other veterans who are coming in, either just to do college from the military to college. So they're a very great resource. I mean, if you're listening to this, Veteran Services at UNR, very awesome. But one of the employees put out a flyer saying, oh, there's this veteran powerlifting team at American Iron. And I knew American Iron for a very long time. I knew it was around the area, just never been.
Right.
I'm surprised too. Like, I'm not very outgoing at the time, so I don't know where I was, how I came up to the idea of like, oh, I'll just go and see the team, because usually I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, why would I do that? I had to associate myself with other people now. I'm like, great. But somewhere in me was like, here, you got to try it. So I signed up. I let that person know, and I almost didn't show up. It's like, I changed my mind. I don't want to do this. But I said, I already told the guy, oh, I committed. I said, I'm coming. So he's like, I didn't want to disappoint him either. As much as I was a very closed off person, I didn't want to disappoint people still. So I said, hey, I'm going to come. I made that commitment. I decided to go over. And I definitely don't regret that decision. Meeting you guys, meeting everybody here, it's just made me a better person overall. I came into this with the wrong idea, like, oh, they're gonna be very rough around the edges, or they're gonna be very competitive, and they just don't want to associate too,
Yeah.
because that's how I felt. But my gosh, how they introduced me into this team, it was definitely a 180. They were so happy to have me there. They wanted me to do my best. When I first met Coach Brandon, I was like, oh my gosh, everyone cares about each other here. How long has it been since I've had that community? Oh, I don't even remember. Not even in the military did I have that. It was, suffer through the day, get the job done, go back to your barracks room, sleep, and just repeat over. I've made friends, yes, but like it wasn't like a community where like we were building upon each other to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And for once, I think this is the only group that's ever done that for me and wanted me to do better, not just in the gym, but really overall in life. I mean, it fixed a lot of things for me. So yeah, I don't know. I could talk on hours for that because that's what they just done for me.
How did it like fix other aspects of your life?
So, like I keep saying, I was very, very closed off. It took a little bit for me to open up to the team still. As much as they
I
were
remember
friendly.
you were being very quiet.
Oh, I
at
was.
the start.
Yeah, I mean, on top of having anxiety of showing up to this, where everyone already knew each other, or at least most people knew each other. I was new, so like I'm like maybe they don't want to talk to me, but having like Angel and Mark come up to me and talk to me and really like bring me in, I guess it started to rub off on me.
Mm-hmm.
Because now was way more open. I was like, okay, like they're being super friendly. I mean, why not be friendly back? It's been a while since I've had this, but I gotta give it a try. So little did I know, behind the scenes, even though I was being more open with them in the gym, I was starting to feel that outside too. Because in school, I was a lot more happier. I was a lot happier meeting new people. Like I have study groups that go from like 10 to 12, sometimes 20 people. I mean, that was during that time, it was great because I started bringing more people in. I'm like, come on, let's study together. Let's do this. Let's finish it together. And I didn't realize I was actually doing that, but that's because of the people here at the gym and veteran powerlifting team, especially. I was kind of translating that slowly into my life without really knowing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was definitely reaching out more and wanting to be more extroverted. Yeah, as much as I was an introvert before that, I was so extroverted because I know now I talk way too much. Like with the team, I'm talking all the time. Like, come on, guys.
I think you hit the right level of talking. There's some people that just Yeah, man, but you're good. You're like,
I hope so.
I don't
yeah.
get tired of you talking.
Oh, I
Also,
hope so. Well, thank you. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I choose to be happy now because of that. Like, I'm more conscious about how I interact with people because I know if I'm down, I'm probably bringing everyone else down around me. They know when I'm in a bad mood because I'm not talking now.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking, they're like, "Oh, wow, Jerry's really happy. He's Jerry."
It seems like you always try to be in a good mood or bring everybody's
Yeah.
spirits up.
I try. Yeah, I definitely try. Even some days when I'm still down, I always try. And when someone asks me if I'm doing well or not, I tell them straight out, like, no, I'm not. I'm having some struggles. Like, I was just at the gym this morning, and my friend that I work out with, he said, Jerry, okay? I'm like, no, not really. Like, it was supposed to be a PR week. Let's do max everything. And I do it day by day. And the last two maxes I had for both deadlift and my bench press, my gosh, it was like 60% down. I was expecting to hit 355 with my bench press with the pause. Now I could barely hit 335. And then my deadlift, I was hoping to go over 600 pounds, but 525 was a struggle. And, when he asked me if I was doing okay, I'm like, no, I think I'm just stressed. Exams, school, end of the semester, it's all weighing down on me. And it's good to be honest because for a long time when people would ask, Jerry, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, of course. No, that was a lie most of the time.
And then you leave people wondering
Yeah, and they know.
because
Yeah.
you can see the actions change.
Yeah, if they know if I'm feeling down, I can't hide it. I'm not very good at hiding my emotions, so they see it's displayed for everybody. So it's not helpful for them or for me to lie about it. I needed to be more open and more honest with myself that I'm not happy. And that helped them realize, oh, Jerry needs a little bit more support. And my gosh, am I so thankful for that? Because when I used to lie about how I feel, because then I always knew that people didn't care. At least in the military, when I say, "Oh no, I'm feeling like this," like, "Oh, well, we're feeling it too, dude." Like, whatever. Like, okay, you had that idea where you had to be strong. You shouldn't show weakness, and it's been hit on the head so many times. Oh, don't show weakness, but you still feel it.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I was getting myself into when I joined the military, but man, you can't really not feel those things. And so when I carried that over and having to change that idea where I can honestly be open about my feelings, it was a whole new thing. Like, it was a good thing.
and people that care.
Yeah, because now I see people care like you.
I think that's a big thing with the veterans program in general.
Yeah.
Is like you shouldn't be afraid to show like quote unquote weakness because it's not really weakness. Everyone's there to support each other, pick each other up.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and that's why I love this community. I refuse to leave it. If one of you guys try to make me leave it, I'm gonna fight to the bitter end. And like, why? Like, I don't want to leave. I'm staying right here. This is where I feel like I can be myself, and that's what the gym has become. Was like not just a place to train, but it became life because now I saw that everything I can take everything here where I train and just move it to where my life is with my family, how I react with my family, my wife, my friends, and how I treat challenges now is a crazy thing because, I mean, I still complain, but I know there's a solution to everything now because in the gym it's like, okay, well, like, I'm not where I want to be at. I know I can take steps A, B, and C. And then now with college, I think about the same thing. Well, I think I'm not going to do well on this exam, so step A, B, and C again. So it just became the stepping stone to becoming a better person, the better Jerry.
Yeah, dude. I was about to ask that. Like when you were lifting, obviously, like, well, this didn't work. I need to do something else. You found something else that worked. You're like, well, if I had the same mindset go into life, like whether it's your marriage or school or something, it's like, well, this didn't work. Let's try this next thing. And like you said, like A, B, or C, and then you picked it up. If it worked, in powerlifting, it's easy. If something works, your numbers go up. In life, it's all relative. Like, how do I feel after this,
Yeah.
So I understand that's like that first step. It's something to confirm that you are making progress. And then something that's like, now you got to learn to feel that out,
Yeah, exactly. Like this morning when I was talking to you, you asked me how I was doing. I'm like, oh, I'm okay. My back is killing me. I could have just hid that from you. But then because I told you, you gave me some recommendations to help loosen my hamstrings and loosen my back because, like, I mean, I need it for sure. So if I haven't told you, you wouldn't have given me that advice for sure. So I'm glad I'm more open and about how I feel physically, mentally, because then there are people here, you both, that will help me out if I do need the help. So it's become a natural thing now to be open. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And yesterday, I was leading a deadlift clinic for the ROTC battalion, the Wolfpack battalion, and I think because I'm more open now in the gym, someone came up and was like, "Hey, look, we could use your assistance. We know you lift heavy and you really care about form and technique. Like, how about you come over or schedule a day with us to show us how to deadlift?" I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Like people, because now I have that infectious thing where people want my help. Like it's spreading now. So now I want to take what I know and how I feel and give it out and give it back to the community. So UNR or American Iron, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You can treat everybody the same way and have good feelings come out of it. Yeah.
It's really hard to imagine that you were once like bitter and angry, because nowadays
Yeah.
you were.
I was
you
going to
were-
say the first time I met him in Austin, I was like, you couldn't have told me that. I thought
you
you
were-
were lying to me.
You were one of the nicest people, and you've
thank
given back to even just the vet program,
Yeah.
like a lot. You've given back to the gym a lot. You help as much as possible. I've seen you in the gym just help random people.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it feels good. It's rewarding in that way. But I hope that it becomes infectious. Somehow it's infectious that because I helped this person, they're just going to help the next person. That's what I want from a community.
I would
Yeah.
say Austin was infectious.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about like Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Well, because some of those days were brutal.
Oh my God.
But you always kept a smile on your face and made the rest of us, a little bit happier.
Oh my God. Yeah. Smiling through the pain. It was
Not-
great.
Not
Yeah.
gonna lie, without Jake or Jerry, like it would have been rough.
Yeah,
It
you were.
was like it was always one of those two that were just playing with the
glue.
ball or something. Yeah,
They were the glue that were
Like,
holding that.
we
team
were all
together.
working, but there was two guys that are just like, all right, well, everybody sucks right now. We got to pick it up, guys. And that was Jerry's way of just telling us to pick it up.
It was so
You were
fun.
also the only one that could do math.
Oh, yeah. That was,
That's right. Yeah, y'all couldn't do the kilos at first. That's
No.
right.
yeah. At first they didn't.
But y'all killed it
Yeah.
after like the first 2 sessions they all did. After that, like y'all were doing just fine.
Oh yes, yeah. No, that's because like again, it goes back to helping everybody. So the Reno team, we didn't really have an idea of how to convert the kilos, or at least like understand, even
yeah.
me in the beginning. So what I would do to help us as a team, especially for the Reno team, the spotting and loading team, I would watch you guys. So when we were off, I would sit at the very front table and take this piece of paper, and I would start writing
That's
out.
right. He showed me this
Yeah.
piece of paper.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Like, okay, so it's
Like if it
125.
ends with 2.5 or 7.5, there's a silver at the end.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. If
And
it's a 45 or a 95, there's a green. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I could have held all that knowledge to me, but to help us and to make our lives easier, first it was Tony because he was always next to me, and then it became everybody else.
Yeah.
But the entire time, I was using my hand like this. We gotta do this.
It
And
feels
then-
so good,
yeah.
though.
And then-
You're moving so much.
Right, and then Tony was even great too because then I don't know, he kind of took charge. It wasn't me anymore, but Tony was like now yelling out the numbers, like, "Oh, we gotta put these on. This is 2 red plates, guys." Like, so I was like, "Wow, that kind of worked out really well for me because now he wants to help others,
Yeah.
help
and-
us."
Or you can put
Yeah.
him on that side now, and y'all can both run the sides.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure everyone appreciated it. I definitely appreciated myself for that because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to be lost."
Oh, yeah.
And if I'm lost, everyone's gonna be lost too, I bet, or at least that's what I think. But we came out pretty strong there too because we all helped each other. So
I think a lot of. How old are you?
28, I think.
28. I think there's a lot of people between our age ranges, 25 to 30, probably even 35. It started with like that kind of age range, but as the kids get younger, I think they're starting to do like a lot less like team sports or team activities.
Yeah.
And like you said, you were in the military, but you say you still didn't feel that team environment while you were there. You felt it when you got here.
Yes.
I think it's very important for somebody in their life at least once to go through that kind of team environment.
Yeah.
I think it really helps, whether it's a football team or powerlifting team or it's just a gym community. I think having that thing that pushes you, that make people want to help you and you want to help those other people. That's what makes it feel good.
Like even though this is like powerlifting, for example, is an individual sport, keeping
helps.
keeping it as a team aspect and being willing to help everybody else, I think makes a huge difference.
Right. Yeah. No. Well, that brings up a good point because when I first started powerlifting in the team, when I first signed up, I was told everything like, oh yeah, it's on you. It's all about you. You lift the weight. No one's gonna lift it with you. So I was like, oh my gosh, everyone must be so competitive, like against each other, butting heads. Probably there's a lot of blood on the line and everything like that. But it was awesome to see in the first competition where, someone was ahead, but everyone else was like, oh my God, yeah, that was cool. Everything. Like they're supportive of the person they're going against. I have never seen that. Everyone is so supportive of their opposition, and I'm like, wow, that I love this. I don't have to fight anybody. No one's gonna be at my throat because I'm outlifting them, and I don't have to be at anyone's throat too if they're outlifting me. If anything, I'm more supportive. I'm like, you can definitely pull that, dude. You'll beat me, but come on.
It makes you want to do better.
It's
Yeah.
the weight of, because like, yeah, win or lose, that's a thing, obviously. But like, you always want somebody to hit their next PR, and it's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
'cause
hope
you-
this guy
yeah.
pulls this out of his ass, out of nowhere,
Yeah.
because that'd be sick for him,
Yeah, because you know exactly how he's feeling. Like, he's probably just as nervous, just as anxious, and just wants it as much as you do to get that PR. So now, because you come from a place of understanding, you're like, yeah, dude, go get it.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was going to ask, like, because you still have, like, quite the competitive spirit,
Yeah.
but you still want to root everybody else on.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm very competitive still. Like, there's always that sense of competition. Like, you still want to win, but I don't know. It's like you still want other people to do well. And it kind of goes in tandem with each other. Where, yeah, if I win, I win. Cool. But you just want to lift everybody up with you. I'm still competitive, yes, but I still want everyone to do just as well as me. So that's the exciting part, because then I get to see for myself, I need to do this next year or next competition to be better, just like this guy. It's all up for me.
Because you're, I think what it is, too, is you're very competitive with yourself.
Oh yeah,
You're
no.
very hard on yourself.
Oh,
And when
yeah,
you
tell
when
me
you
about
go into when you go into a meet, there's always like a switch that flips.
it. Yeah.
You go from smiling and being nice to like right before going out being
Oh yeah. I remember
stone
that.
face. Just
I remember that. I think you were sitting next to me during the Open Nationals back in March. I think it was this year, right? Man, everything feels so far away from when we did it, but
It's been a long year.
yeah.
it's been a long year. It has been. So, I mean, that was just in March for Open Nationals here in Reno. Just like you said, that switch with me, because that one judge that came to the back says, "You look so angry, like you're going to just destroy it, like you want to hurt somebody." I'm like, and then I switched back to my old self, Jerry. Like, oh no, I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm just like very serious and competitive. But it's like you know when to switch, take off the hat and put the other one when someone's communicating you, and then when you're competing. So he was also shocked that I went from from Stone Cold Killer face to smiling and say, "Oh no, I'm not mad or anything." And he's like, "Oh okay, well, you really proved that." But it's good to have. I've learned to have that. To have both sides, to balance it. Because, yes, I am very competitive and very hard on myself, but, I don't have to treat everybody like the
Like,
bar
yeah.
out there. Yeah.
I think that mental part. Like I'm very curious. Like what exactly do you think about to like make that switch happen?
Well, let's see.
Because we all have different things.
Hmm.
Like for me personally, I think about just messed up things in my life, and that helps. I don't know what you think about.
So when you say, like, the switch, you mean to competitiveness?
Right, like because there is a complete switch when you're going out to the platform.
Right. Oh, okay, yeah.
Like you're going for that PR.
So what I do, I kind of just zone out. It's really weird, but I guess I'm beating myself up in the insides. Like, you better get this. You have no excuse not to get this. You've been training for this. So that's where the switch is. It's not so much of a violence thing, but it's more of a like, I've been training so hard, and it's me against me. Like, I'm talking to myself, why won't you get this? Well, you have no excuse. Like, either you get it or not, and if you don't, well, that was on you. So that's me talking to myself there, like, oh my gosh. And then if I fail, I'm like, I'm mad now. But it's not because of other people, it's because of myself. But when someone gets up to me like that judge, I'm like, yeah, well, I forget about it. It kind of melts away until I go up again. I start talking to myself in I wouldn't say a negative, but a very firm way. Like, oh, Jerry, come on, you've done this 1,000 times. Just do it again. Yeah, if you don't, well, then on the off season, try again, do better, fix that, why, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the switch for me, at least.
Did you? I don't remember, but like the first competition you did, was that switch always there, or did that just start to develop?
That just started, that developed there, actually. Though, since you asked about the switch, it developed at that moment, because it was my last squat attempt. I was so upset about. I hit everything else, but that squat attempt, it really messed me up. It was my final squat attempt of 501. So that was like the most I've ever done, because right before that, maybe a month before that, I hit 500 for the first time on a squat, and I was so proud of that. So I'm like, what's one more pound? Oh my gosh, did it make a difference for at least me? So I kind of went out there thinking, oh, I'm going to hit it. Like, why not? And then I did. I got the depth. I came up, but then I fell forward and caught myself, and I missed the rack command. Not on purpose, but that's because of me, my technique. And I'll admit this, I was crying right after the competition, because what I expected didn't become reality. And I had to learn that I can't just expect these things. I need to get serious about it. And it was that switch when it developed, because when you were handling me, I was just kind of going out there, okay, I'll hit this, sure. And then after that fail, I was like, okay, well, I got to get more serious about this if I'm going to stay on this team and be better. So yeah, that's where the real switch was.
It was kind of a wake-up call.
Oh, was it? Yeah. I remember I was talking to my wife, and then I was really, really upset. Like, we were in the car, and I was just like in tears. Like, I can't believe it. Why didn't I get it? And I know exactly why. I just didn't want to accept it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely building blocks from up there.
Oh, dude. A lot of people think that they're addicted to that number going up or to get a lift. It's that build up. It's like that 10 seconds between you to the bar. That rush is killer, dude. It's like kickoff on a football game, you know. It's just like, it's the beginning, it's about to start, and especially if you're going for like a PR. And then getting the lift just cements it was a good memory. Like, no matter what, like, you go through so much like stress and stuff like that going to that bar. It's like, oh, that feels so good. That's what I always chase. Yeah. It's like I want to be scared when I go up to this bar, because like that, now I got a chance to prove myself that I'm better now, you know. Yeah,
I believe that 100%. It's the that build up you speak of. Like, I don't realize, like, within those 10 seconds is the 10 seconds I've gone for the last 6 months.
I was about to say the 10 seconds was also the 600 squat reps and bench reps and deadlift reps you've done for 12 weeks.
For the whole prep, like, it's within that moment where you decide for yourself, I will do it or I won't. Yeah, it's all mental.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I guess because one of my clients brought up a good point. When you do other sports, you can kind of compete like almost weekly. This is a sport where you spend 12 weeks prepping
for 9 minutes
for your 9 minutes of total play time.
Right.
And so that buildup is always huge.
Yeah,
it's why it can be very emotional for some people.
That's why I don't understand people that like, oh, I don't feel good, I'm just not going to go to the meals. Like, dude, you wasted 3 months just to not show up.
Right.
Just do it.
You might as well do it.
You don't know how strong you'll be that day at all. No, not even that morning of, you'll know how strong you are. Just go do it. Get that first attempt in, and then you're just stuck there. Now you got to do it forever.
It's like a lot of this is such a mental buildup. It's as much as you're working out your body, like I mentioned before, you're really focused on this, because without that focus, everything falls apart. And I think that's why this week, when I was trying to do all my max attempts, that everything started to fall apart. It's because I wasn't mentally prepared or mentally in the zone for it.
It's such a big deal. Yeah.
Like, I was talking so poorly again, and I went back to that old habit, like, oh, I can't lift it, I'm too tired, I'm upset, I'm so stressed. But yes, all these things, they're unavoidable. Like, they're not going to reschedule my exam. It's going to be there. So I have to choose whether or not I'm going to feel good. But I chose wrongly this time. I chose to feel bad. It's going to happen anyway. So I need to make that decision next time to be better, to be happy.
I think that's very interesting, is like choosing to, like, almost like choosing to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, another example is, like, I had another client. He was telling me how much he hates bench, how much he didn't want to do it, all this stuff.
Like, that's your choice, though.
And I told him, why don't you go into it thinking that you love bench?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like it was like a light bulb went off, and he actually like that session was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell myself that I love bench, and then he had one of the best bench sessions. It just made more sense to him because he had that positivity. He was able
Yeah.
to focus a little bit more on what needed to be done.
Oh, dude, you put more effort into it. Like he probably drove his legs a little bit hard, squeezed the bar a little bit better. You know, like it's the attitude. That's all it really is.
It's like getting excited for it.
Mhm.
If you go into it just willy nilly, you don't have that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah.
everybody should do a powerlifting meet or like a sport or something, because I think in our, like, let's use the word society, it's just like you're allowed to like take the hard days off now, where like back then it's like you don't take work off, you do this, you grind, then you die, you know, like, well, now it's like we're allowed to take those days off. So I think we take that for granted in terms of like, oh well, life's hard, I'm just going to take something out of my life, whether that's training or this. I think everybody should go through a hard time in their life and get ready for a powerlifting meet, even if it's not your best meet. But like, you got to go in there. You're probably not in the best mindset. You're probably not going to get really excited, but you got the job done. It teaches you that discipline a little bit. And then when you finally do get to the meet, and all of a sudden that click switches, and you're just like, ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh, it's
exactly.
kind of nice, you know? And so it's like, you can't really hate squat, bench, or deadlift. You probably just hate going to the gym. Just get to the gym. You're already there. Be happy about it and get through what you got to get through. You know, you don't have to be 100% every day, but this proves to yourself that you can do this no matter how you feel. And who knows, maybe you hit a PR at that meet, you know? But like,
Exactly,
at least you did it. Don't take those days off just because it's a little bit harder than normal. I get there's days where you got to take that. Like, there's days where like you cannot recover at all. Like, I get that. So you just got to figure that out. But I think everybody should go through that. Some type of sport or stressful event while they're also getting stressful in life. I think it helps develop a lot.
And it's about finding the enjoyment almost in the negative.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, everything sucks, but I'm still doing this. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have to love it, you know, at some point. You know, you got to admit that this is more of a joy than it is a hate.
Viewing it more as a challenge to like conquer versus like
Oh, yeah.
a challenge that's trying to beat you.
That's why, like,
Yeah.
I did a powerlifting meet when I was a mover, and that was the main reason why I did. I was like, man, I'm so tired, but I only train like 2 days a week, but I got the work in. I got a meet. I hit a deadlift PR. It's like, well, I've proved myself that I can do this. So if I got in better situations, like how I am in AI, had a great meet at Legions, you know. So it just, I think a lot of people just have not proved to themselves enough what they're actually capable of.
Right.
And I think a lot of people lack that nowadays.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I try and drag my friends to the gym all the time. Like, they see the gym as like a place to work out, like a place of pain. Yeah, I mean, if you think like on the surface level, sure. And then, I mean, I go at 6 a.m. at the UNR gym every single morning. But that's where I find my most enjoyment, where I find my self-improvement of myself entirely. So I have friends that come, and I'm trying to like tell them that. It's really hard to tell somebody like this is more than just working out. This is a mental toughness game. It's really a chess piece. Was a chess game with yourself. Like, can you get up? Okay, that's a start. That's great. You get up at 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. like I do. That is a very hard thing. The hardest thing is to show up. The easiest thing is to do the rest of it. So for me, even I still struggle to this day. I get up at 5 in the morning every morning to get ready for the gym. And I really do contemplate with myself, do I really want to go? I'm so tired. I have an exam in a week. I still have to study and do all this homework. I could use this extra rest to, prepare for that. No, I'm going to get up and go to the gym because this is who I am. I want to get ready mentally and physically for these challenges. Because if I know I can do this, I can do everything else. I can conquer everything else. So I associate the powerlifting, the training at the gym, all with this. This is the biggest thing I talk about. It's always my mental strength.
It's your medium, yeah. It's how you get that point across to yourself. It's through sport or powerlifting, you know.
Exactly.
Everybody has a medium. You know, some people write books. We powerlift. You know.
Yeah.
That's how we figured it out. So.
Yeah, I think my friend started to grasp that idea because, we joke around a lot. He picks on me quite a bit during the gym. Oh, you're weak. I know it's all just jokes, but sometimes we get serious about it. And I have this cold plunge system, and that he comes over to use too, because I force him to go into it. I'm like, come on. And even though we stay over the recommended amount, I told him, he asked me like, why do you stay there so long? Well, after I get all the benefits, I'm starting to improve this mental toughness. Like, if I can sit in this cold water for longer, I can be stronger up here, because then it's a game of like how long can I last? And in that moment too, in those extra minutes where I'm in the cold plunge, I think to myself, like, what do I want from life? What's my next plans? What's the future gonna look like for me in powerlifting? Because that's the only 15 to 30 minutes I get of like peace and quiet to myself. So there's nothing to do but to think. So that's where I reinforce that positivity. Like, oh, tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Oh, the gym is gonna be great for me, or I'm gonna hit this PR next week. If I don't, that's okay because I'll come back stronger for the next one. Those 15 to 30 minutes makes a whole difference in my month, maybe even the year. And I do that every other day. Yeah, so I like the idea of self-improvement because it started with powerlifting. I started being better about that with life around my friends and the people I meet. Then I was like, I want more of that. I want to be better. I started reading more books on powerlifting, and I started doing more research. And I'm like, okay, cold plunge sounds nice. I mean, why not? And then sauna, okay, cool. It's like it just starts to build up, and I personally think I'm becoming a better person through it because I'm doing all these challenges to make myself better. Looking back, just even 2 years, I'm like, wow, I know I've made that progressive jump from this bitter, sad person to like now I just want to be better and then spread that positivity around. Yeah, it's still hard to this day, but yeah.
No, yeah, especially early workouts like that. You know, there's a lot of the kids like you and R, just anybody I talk to, they're just like, how do you train at like 8 or 8:30? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like there's like nobody there. I was like, is that what gets you there? Like I get, yeah, like, it's like they need that validation. They need the atmosphere, the validation. It's like, dude, like me and you lift. We tell each other good job. Most of the time it's like, hey, you messed up. But it's like I don't get upset at that, and I don't get happy if we like say something good. But it's like it's just it's just discipline at that point. But a lot of people, that's what they need. They need that attention or that atmosphere, that validation. Like they don't want to. They're like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym at 8:30. Why? It's too early. It's because there's nobody there. I'm like, oh, that's a bad excuse. I don't like that one.
Do you think having that military background made a difference in your discipline? Because I see some vets where you think that would play a role, and it doesn't play a role at all.
I got that tomfoolery.
Yeah.
I would
Hooligans.
say it was 10% of that. I think at least for me, I fooled myself thinking just because I was in the military, I do have that discipline. No, I never really. I don't think it did for me personally. I can't speak on everybody. Like, they have their own ideas about it. But I did definitely come into the sense of going into college and everything, thinking that because I was in the military, I'm so disciplined to do everything else. No, 2 years into college, I started falling back on my grades, my homework. Like, it was an idea, cool to think about. Yes, I got the discipline, but really, am I utilizing it? No, I had to redevelop what that meant to me, the discipline. And that only started because someone started to hold me accountable here at the gym, here in American Iron. It was signing up to the veteran team, meeting you, and then meeting everybody else. Like, they started like asking me where I'm at, and I'm like, oh shoot, I actually have to do these things. I signed up for it. I think I should actually commit to it or improve on it. So because of that, I was able to do that to myself and keep myself accountable. And now I would say I have the discipline to do everything I need to. If I really care about it, I know I have the discipline to do it. So, to answer your question, I think it only played such a little part. It was an idea. I was still a kid. Like,
you think the ego took over?
Oh my gosh, did it? Yes. Again, like I said before, my ego was so inflated because of the things the things I did or I have done. I was like, okay, well, I'm the shit, whatever. But then you see someone who's actually worked on themselves and improved, and you're like, yeah, I'm really not like that. You can lie to yourself all the time and be like, yeah, because I did this in the military or whatever you have done before, like you can do everything else. But no, once you get humbled, like I was, like school was a humbling experience. It still is. I mean, I'm almost there to graduation. It just makes you think about the reality of things. It's nothing comes easy that you care about. So I had to reforge that discipline. Yes, forge it. I don't know if I ever actually had it because, again, I was told what to do. So did I have a choice? No.
Interesting.
So I know a lot of people, like, they played sports in high school. They think they have that the athletic discipline. They really don't. They had sports, so like that's when like they go into life, they don't work out, they don't continue with their schoolwork or their office work because like you don't have that discipline, whether that's structure or not. You don't have that in yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, they, like you said, you started coming because somebody held you accountable,
Yes.
and then you start thinking about like that by yourself, holding
Yeah.
yourself accountable. You switched. The weight of your own words means so much more to yourself now
Yeah.
than what they used to. When did that like, was it after like somebody said something, you're like, if I told myself this, was it a self-confirming thing?
I guess when I started to actually make the switch to holding myself accountable, like to become autonomous with that, like it's expected now from me
Yeah.
instead of like forced upon, was when I first joined this team. I guess so, yeah, because they said Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you have to come train. You miss more than 20%, you're off the team.
It's only 3 hours a week.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you really think about it, it's only 3 hours a week we train, and it's up to you after those hours to start to do better. Because after that hour, no one's going to tell you anything. Like, you came, good job, you showed up. And it was definitely Ray, Angel, and Mark who really pushed me. It's like, hey, you want to stay and do accessories together? I'm like, sure, I mean, I got time, why not? And then I started to make it a habit. I have to. Like, if I want to win, like, I have to do more than everybody else. That hour is not enough for me. So I started staying longer at the gym just to get some, 2 or 3 extra accessories in. And then, like, it became more. I'm like, okay, do more. And then the competitions really, like, how can you say it? Reaffirm that? Or it really affirmed that.
Reaffirm it.
Yeah, so, like,
Make sure it.
yeah.
The number going up kind of tells you like, yeah, I'm doing things right.
Yeah. And
It's not just you're getting stronger, but like you kept
Right.
up with the habits. That's all that is.
Yeah, like after a while, you don't really think about it. It becomes habit, like you
Yeah.
said. So the competitions really put that into my mind. Like, well, what I put here in the gym, I'm gonna give out in the competitions. So that's where that switch was, or at least where I had to make that commitment to myself to be more disciplined, was because someone put me there, and I had to think for myself afterwards. Yeah. And then I started bothering you more. Like, hey, look, coach, I did this. Here are my exact numbers, my total for today. Like, I don't think I would be doing that right now if I didn't have the push. Someone pushed me.
I still remember when you first came up to me and said, I want to go to Worlds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do remember. Oh, yeah. I did remember.
And yeah, that was, you could see that there was a change, that you were way more focused.
Yeah.
And you actually had a goal in mind.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot about that. So thank you for bringing that up and reminding me, because I remember you taking me to this same office and then talk to Tammy about it. It's like, what do I need to go to Worlds? And then she just gave me the numbers, like this, and this. Like, you got to work with it. You got to work with Brandon. Like, if you just listen, he will get you there. If you just do the things you need to, simple enough, you'll get there. So I know, or at least I knew in myself, as soon as I wanted to go to Worlds, that was it. And I guess that was really what cemented it in stone, or like carved it in stone, was the fact that I want to go to Worlds. Everything switched from there. Like, okay, now I'm more focused. I'm going to do this. This is not just a goal. It's life or death for me. Like, I'm gonna do my best to get there. I will get there.
We bring that up probably at least once a week, every other podcast, about like that one goal that just drives you or Blake or you. That's your goal. Like, go to Worlds.
Yeah.
Bring that up a lot. That's what you need to like just nail everything down. That's all you need.
Well, it's interesting because I hear that goal a lot. I hear that goal.
Now, I was about to bring that up too. It's like there's always the teenager that wants to go to Worlds.
They're always
like a grown ass man is like, I need to go to Worlds. It's
but
like,
there's also the
you
difference.
see it in their eyes.
There's also they're like, I want to go to Worlds, and you can tell if they're serious by how patient they are.
Yeah.
And so if they're willing to be patient, it's like, that they'll most likely succeed.
Yeah, if they're not going to Worlds after their first meet or two, they're pissed off. Versus like somebody that actually wants to go to Worlds, like, hey, this was better. We're good.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
And it's having that different mindset of, instead of being, I have to be good now, it's how can I improve every single time.
Yeah. Like, as far as the goal being there, or the final goal to getting to a Worlds, I don't really think about it too much anymore, but it's always in the back of my mind, because every competition is is the next stepping stone to get there. It's first seeing what you want, where you want to go, and then having to reverse engineer it back all the way down. Like, what do I need to get there? So I start focusing on what's ahead of me versus like what's in the long term. Because you could say you want to go to the worlds for sure, but do you have a plan to get there, or do you have the commitment or the discipline again to get there? Because I work out with people who I compete with, and then it takes one little bad thing to just derail the entire goal. Like, they don't even talk about going to Worlds anymore, but it was one little thing. So were you serious? Did you really want to, or did you really need to? Like, do you need to, or do you want to? And again, it's all a mental game. If one thing derailed you, everything else will. If it's not this thing, it's the next thing.
I think you talk a lot about discipline, but you never talk about motivation. And I think that's a big thing.
That's such a big deal. It
really
really is.
People confuse motivation for discipline.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have motivation, I guess you could say. It's because it's not the thing that comes up to me when I want to go complete something. It's I know this is hard, and I'm going to do it anyways. I don't remember the last time I told someone I was motivated, because yeah, sure, I am excited. I think the word is excited for me, but I never use the motivation because I feel like that's a false sense of discipline. Because I start saying I'm motivated, and all of a sudden, like, how long is this going to keep me going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a process. Motivation starts, discipline keeps you there.
Right.
So I think you got to go through that whole where it's like, I can't just rely on my love for this or a joy for it. I still enjoy it. I still love this, but it's like, I just got to do it because I want to be better at this. And sometimes there's days you don't want to squat, bench, or deadlift. You don't even want to think about a gym. You don't want to get out of bed. That discipline, though, that's what keeps you going.
Exactly. Because there'll be plenty of days where you have zero motivation.
It's not always there.
But if you have that discipline, that allows you to get here.
Yeah.
Right. I think I remember a year ago when I was talking to you and Blake was when I think someone noticed I was not feeling good, like emotionally. And I told you that I just don't think I want to come to the gym anymore. Like, I just want to stop this. I don't know if it's for me. And yeah, that was a big roadblock. But I'm glad I told you and Blake, because then you told me, just take a week off, come back to it. It's not going to be every day is going to be amazing. It's not. It's going to be hard, and it's not going to be very fun. So you got to just take a step back and rest your mind, because it is really tiring your mind. And that I guess what do I want to say? That advice really helped me out, because when I did take that rest, I knew that, okay, look, I feel a little better. Like, now it can go back, and then it just starts rising again.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's been multiple times in my lifting career, at least, where I'll take like a whole summer or winter, like 3 to 6 months off. I'm like, yeah, that's it. No more hiatus. I'm retired, And then it's like, you know what? And then you do that first like max out bench press. You're like, I still got this. I'm still in this. And
I think it is
get back to you.
Like, it's that exhaustion in your mind, because when you're so focused on being like motivated, or you're so focused on a goal, or you're so focused on the idea of like being better, it almost like you're too obsessed with being better,
right,
rather than the actual goals, and that's exhausting.
A trend I've noticed with like top powerlifters, I can't really say top athletes, because Kobe had the goal of always being the best, and that could be toxic, that could be good, depends on what you want out of it, But like a lot of top powerlifters, you always wonder, like, they do this national meet, then like back in the day, you used to do Arnold, and then they had Worlds, and then they would do a local meet just because they felt that's like they're training at this high level for multiple meets in a year. It's like, how do they do that? How do they stay in that? And it wasn't really a motivation; it was a discipline, and they're genetically gifted as well to keep pushing the way they can. But a lot of the guys that go to Worlds 1 or 2 years, 1 or 2 times, and they don't come back ever again, is because they never took that mental break. They were 100% every time, and they burnt out really fast. It was never really injury. It was just like, I don't want to do this anymore, and then they just stop or something. We're like somebody like, let's take like Taylor Atwood or Jennifer Thompson. They've been doing this for years, and it's not really like the I love the sport. They do, obviously, but it's not that I love the sport. I always think about the sport. I yearn for the sport. It's just like, it's that discipline that pushes them, and also like it helps them just. They can train, and they don't have to have their best day every day, but that's all they need is to just get in there and train.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long game for how serious you are about this stuff. And like I tell my friend and my other friends who want to or need to go to the gym or need to go to the world. It's like you need to focus on this. This is what keeps you going. For me, this is your biggest muscle right here. And if you're not really focused on that and like working to make that stronger, metaphorically, like you're not gonna get far. You could be as big and strong as you want, but without this, you're not gonna get anywhere. You're gonna give up soon. You're gonna make excuses to not do it anymore. Like, oh, I'm just so tired, Jerry. I'm like, I know I'm tired too, dude. But you want this as much as me, or do you need it? Like, do you want to be better? Yeah. I'm like, well, just come with me. Come on. And then, they're very thankful. But again, I had to do that for them, like they was done for me. I don't want to give up on anybody, but it's really hard too, because that's where another mental thing is. Like, you want to improve, but you're also taking everybody up with you. Like it's not very sustainable a very long time, because you're spending as much energy on them as you are with you. So you're kind of cut in half at that point. Like you understand that. I at least understand that I want to help everybody, but I also need to think about myself too. So again, it's a game. Like I had to level everything out with my mind.
No, there's trade-offs. Yeah,
Yeah.
Everything has a trade-off.
Yeah.
Even to go to heaven, you got to die.
Yeah.
But so you got to trade off those things, and I understand that. Like the thing with training with Brandon. I think we've been training. How long have you been training for? 8, 10?
10.
Okay, so we're like around the same training age, and it's just there's some days Brandon's like, I don't want to squat today. Cool, just take the day off, and then he comes back Wednesday and kills. You just build that knowledge up. You're like, it's just not today.
Yeah, I had to tell myself that a lot. It's like,
But it's good that it's good hearing that about the newer guys you're bringing up though, because they don't have that yet. So it's up to you to guide them to that. It's like you have to build that habit for them. It's like, all right, you might not want it as bad, but you still got to put the work in today. Or you might not want it as bad, but I'll see you tomorrow. So you want to do this tomorrow instead? Just go home now. Like building that up, building those habits. That way they're like, what did happen when I was with Jerry that once? Oh, he just told me to take the day off. I'll do that. And
It's a balance, though. It's about finding that balance.
yeah, I mean, you still got other things in life that are going on that are affecting you mentally. For me, it's school and my life with my wife and my family. And then this is still just part of your entire life. You can't forget that there's other things going around. So it is all a balance. I think for my friends at least, sometimes I hope they hear me. Like I hope they are listening to me, because there's a difference between hearing somebody and listening to somebody. And I always try and tell them, like, what do you want from this? Do you want to get better? Do you want to improve on your life, not just in the gym, but everything else? And I feel like some of them hear me sometimes, and then there's that one person that listens. They're like, oh, I do need to do this. I'm listening to you, Jerry. Like, and then they become either like me or better than me. Now they're just improving upon life, and that's always a good feeling. But I can't do that for everybody. Not everyone wants to listen, and that's okay. I had to accept that, because it was mentally draining for me to just keep saying it every day. What are you doing? If you just listen, this will be good for you. I won't. And then I had to stop, because then I realized either they're really angry at me or I'm getting tired.
Sound like a coach.
Yeah. It starts sounding like the coach, and they don't want to listen to coach.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, tell me about it. One of them calls me coach, and it's so hilarious, because either it's a compliment. Hello. But either it's a compliment or it's an insult, because I take it as both. I'm like, coach in a good way, or coach like you hate me and you don't want to listen to me. And sometimes I bring it up and be serious about it, but he listens, he doesn't. That's not my choice to make. I had to make the choice for myself mentally to be, I will listen to you. Like for you, it was the same thing for Blake. That I had to listen. I can't just keep hearing you. I have to listen to you and actually take what you tell me seriously. And I mean, I don't look back on that. Though I never regret a single thing that you guys tell me, because I know it's only going to help me further in the end. And again, it's important to take breaks, because then this thing gets burnt so fast for me. Like I want things, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, I don't want to go to the gym. What's the gym?
Well, it's not just powerlifting. It's school. It's
Yeah.
you're married. You know, you got all those other things thinking about. It's
Yeah.
easy to burn out with all those stressors, man.
Oh yeah, it's oh man, talking about burnout. Yeah, it's important to take that break to really learn to just switch it off. Yeah.
I think we gotta cut it off.
No worries. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, maybe we could
Speaking
go
of
hours.
break, you know,
Speaking of breaks,
There you go. Yeah, we need one right now.
well, thanks for coming on.
No, thank you so much. You guys have been awesome. I really enjoy this stuff. So thank you for having me.
Of course.
Sir.